be able to watch the process of me just simply Googling a few of the words you've said in this conversation. And up pops Reuters from July the 1st, 2020, saying, fact check, the Mayor of London did not say Sharia law is being imposed in London. Let me read some of it to you. Social media users are sharing a quote attributed to the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, implying that Sharia law is being implemented in London. This claim is false. The Mayor of London's press office has confirmed.
A caller rang James O'Brien to tell him Sadiq Khan wants to introduce Sharia law in London. O'Brien Googled it live on air while the caller was still talking and found a Reuters fact check from 2020 confirming the quote is completely fabricated. The caller said yes, fair enough, it is false. Then kept his opinion anyway. Then he said immigrants are living in 5-star hotels. O'Brien dismantled that too. The caller admitted the buildings used to be hotels, but are now dormitories with bunk beds and restricted meals. Then kept his opinion anyway. This is one of the most important clips James O'Brien has ever recorded because it shows something that statistics and arguments alone cannot capture. You can demolish every single claim a person makes, and they will still believe what they believed when they picked up the phone. Understanding why that happens is the only way to begin addressing it. This is Fool's Ballot, and we are getting into it right now. Subscribe if you are not already on board. Now let us get into it.
What to say?
I'm delighted that he's back, if I'm honest. I think it gives people another option because, quite frankly, looking at Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak, I wouldn't really fancy voting for either of them.
Well, you don't live in Clacton, so you've already had a option in your constituency to vote for reform.
Correct, yes, but it wasn't with Nigel at the helm. I think.
So what does that change, do you think?
I suppose he gives a bit of the Boris factor. I wasn't a fan of Boris at sort of
then
the
why
late
would you
stages.
why would you want the Boris factor then?
Because he's backing Britain.
Who is?
Nigel.
How?
Nigel. He's putting the British values there first. And
so can you talk? I love that phrase. I like it a lot, actually, James. Can we go through what you think they are?
Yeah. So if I go on holiday to Dubai.
I want British values, not theoretical holidays.
That.
So what are British values?
This is what I'm about to say. If you let me finish.
Of course.
If I go to Dubai, I respect Muslim laws. I will fully respect it. You don't drink in public. You're not allowed to walk around with your top off if you go through the hotel lobby. But I find it funny that you're getting a lot of people that are coming over here who don't want to follow the British values of respect, looking after the society, looking after your home. They're coming across and wanting to change our rules
and
how we live. Well, I think Nigel's pretty...
And which rules? Give me an example of a real person trying to change a real rule.
Well, you look at Sadiq Khan. He's implementing a lot of rules that a lot of his Muslim voters are wanting.
Like what?
The one in Sharia law.
Sorry, Sadiq Khan has introduced Sharia law?
No, he would back Sharia law.
Where do you get that claim from, mate?
He said it.
You think Sadiq Khan has said that he wants to introduce Sharia law?
He would back it.
Okay, what do you think?
If that was on the table.
What do you think Sharia law is?
I'm not going to get into that. You know what Sharia law is.
Well, I know that on things like divorces and domestic disputes, some people are happy to have their cleric, if you like, sit in a form of adjudication, but that can't be what you're objecting to. So what is it you think Sadiq Khan has publicly backed that you're troubled by?
No, I'm saying that Sadiq Khan would back Sharia law.
Yes, but what do you mean by the phrase, in that context, what do you mean by the phrase Sharia law? Because if you're saying that he would back something, I don't know, like chopping people's arms off for shoplifting, then you'd have to be able to provide some evidence, wouldn't you?
But okay, we'll go back a stage.
No, let's just pick off. Let's just deal with one bit of the conversation at a time. The claim that Sadiq Khan. I mean, all you've talked about is Muslims. So when you say British values,
yes,
you don't mean freedom of religion.
No. Anyone can.
You don't
have
mean
freedom
of worship. You don't mean freedom of expression.
Absolutely fine.
And you don't mean democracy, because Sadiq Khan, of course, is the elected mayor of London 3 times. So what are the
very,
British values?
very odd in my opinion.
Well, of course it's odd in your opinion, because your opinions are based on falsehoods and misunderstandings. For example, Sadiq Khan supports Sharia law. So let's just pick up on where that idea took seed in your mind or your memory.
So Sadiq Khan is a Muslim.
Yes.
So, of course, he would want Sharia law because it acts as a code for living that all Muslims should adhere to.
Oh, I see.
Including
so you've got
so
there is absolutely no recorded evidence of Sadiq Khan saying what you're saying.
Well, no, he has
but
said...
This is what all Muslims believe.
Yes, but why? This is a Christian country.
But that's freedom of religion, then.
But it's not. You can have the right to prayer, but why should we introduce a law?
But no one is introducing that. This is the thing that you're going to have to, I guess, either stop saying this or provide some proof.
I have. If you want to, I can. If I had the time, I'd find the clip of them.
Take all the time you want.
I'll send that clip in.
No, stay on the. Don't go now. So just tell me when it was, what he said, what, and what you think he meant by Sharia law, and what it is you're scared of.
I'm scared at the fact that we are talking about introducing a Muslim law to a Christian country.
James, only you are talking about that.
No, I mentioned it.
I have Sadiq Khan on this programme every month for the last God knows how many years, and he's never once mentioned this. You've been on for 2 minutes and you can't shut up about it. So where on earth are you getting this evidence from?
You're the one who's spinning this now.
Mate, I just need to warn you that everyone can hear you.
Absolutely.
Right. So where is your proof, or where did you get the idea that... I mean, it's supposed to be a conversation about Nigel Farage representing British values.
Yes, and that's what I was getting onto. So when you asking me about...
Well, no, we can't get onto that yet, because we just need to establish when and where Sadiq Khan spoke out. I mean, he's been mayor of London for years. Why hasn't he introduced it?
Because I imagine he would have very great troubles introducing it.
Well, that would be one answer to the question. The more obvious one is that he's got absolutely no desire to do so whatsoever, which is the point at which you proved to me that he does.
It was a post that was going around social media, which had a quote alongside of Sadiq Khan saying that he quoted that they are trialling the law in 3 of London's boroughs right now.
Yeah,
and they will roll it out in the remaining 30 years.
What research did you do into that social media post?
It was on the Daily Mail.
No, but what checks did you do on it?
Well, how can you check something when?
Right, do you want me to show you?
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, which I promise you isn't patronising. But do you know what Reuters is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so an internationally respected news organisation.
Yep.
So while I've never heard this claim about Sadiq Khan before. I'm 99.999% confident that it's complete rollocks, right? And the only time I ever hear things like this is when people tell me that Nigel Farage defends British values, and I push them for some proof. I push for some proof or some evidence or some explanation. And you tell me that, for example, Sadiq Khan, I don't know what this has got to do with Nigel Farage, but hang on, because I'm just teaching you how to do fact checks. All right? So you tell me that the Mayor of London wants Sharia law to be imposed in London, and you mention a social media meme or quote, and I can find while talking to you, this isn't the BBC, I've done it all myself while talking to you. In fact, people watching on YouTube will be able to watch the process of me just simply Googling a few of the words you've said in this conversation. And up pops Reuters from July the 1st, 2020, saying, fact check, the Mayor of London did not say Sharia law is being imposed in London. Let me read some of it to you. Social media users are sharing a quote attributed to the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, implying that Sharia law is being implemented in London. This claim is false. The Mayor of London's press office has confirmed that the quote, which misspells Sharia, is fabricated. Posts showing the quote alongside a picture of Khan have hundreds of shares on Facebook, including you, I imagine, right? The quote
Yep.
attributed to Khan reads, "We are trialling Sharia law in 3 of London's boroughs right now. We will then roll it out in the remaining 30 next year."
Correct.
I mean, it's illiterate, James.
What? So you're
And-
saying
and-
that
and
was on
it's-
Reuters that I was proved to be wrong?
And it's false.
Okay, well, I'll do what politicians can't do and accept that.
But look how much you've built on it.
But equally, that still doesn't change my opinion of that. When you're asking me about the British values, there
Yes.
still is a lot of talk about Sharia law.
Right. Well, there's a lot of talk about, I don't know, anti-vax rhetoric.
Correct.
There's a lot of talk about lots of things. That's freedom of speech, isn't it?
It is freedom of speech.
But you're
And
not opposed to freedom of speech because you're in favour of British values.
Absolutely.
But not all
but
speech should be free.
No, there's a difference. Freedom of speech seems to be one-sided, very one-sided.
Okay, so
I mean,
who doesn't
reporting-
have freedom of speech then?
I'd probably say the white working class man.
What do you want to say that you can't say? You can say it to me, I promise. I'll protect you.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, how do you know that I'm white? You've just assumed that there.
Okay, are you?
I am, yes. But
Okay.
you,
Well, let's
straight
carry
away.
on then. What's the thing you can't say that you wish you could?
No, what I'm saying is, when you're on about British values.
No, that was you. I'm
freedom of-
waiting for you to tell me what they
you're
are. I'm
asking
not
me.
going on about them.
No, but you were asking me, and then you're saying in terms of how it's not sort of getting out there and freedom of speech. Well, how come? And so I'm not a Tommy Robinson fan,
Yeah.
but the media was reporting
Why aren't
that
you?
there was only.
Why aren't you a Tommy Robinson fan?
I mean, I agree with some of his points, but the way that he goes about it, it probably doesn't help.
What points
help
do you
his
agree
cause.
with?
That we're losing societies.
But we've just established that your main reason for being fearful of Islam is completely false.
I never said that was my main concern.
What's your main concern then?
My main concern is that we, as working class British citizens, are losing a lot of our.
Lots of working class British citizens are Muslim.
And I haven't said anything against that. You're spinning words.
I'm not.
It's a bit like when Donald
I'm just
Trump
saying,
said
how
that-
can you be talking about Muslims
I
and
didn't
working
specifically-
class
no,
British people as
hang
if
on
they're
a second.
different? As if they're different.
I'm not.
Right. So
There's a
what
lot-
is the stuff you agree with Tommy Robinson about then? And I do want you to say the stuff you feel that white working class people aren't allowed to say. What sort of thing are we talking about here?
So I'll go back to earlier what you were saying about the boats coming across and what Nigel Farage has been saying.
No, I want you to tell me what you think you can't say.
I'm leading on to that. If you'd let me finish. So,
It's 11:33. I do want to talk to you for a bit longer, but just move on to it as quickly as you can, James.
No, absolutely. So,
Thank you.
Tommy Robinson, he's obviously up there agreeing that we're allowing too many illegal immigrants into the country. We're allowing an army of men to come across.
Right.
There's no
And
women
who's not allowed to say that then?
People get branded different things if you say that.
You're always going to get branded something. I get branded lefty, loony, liberal. I mean, I think they showed a picture of me at Tommy Robinson's rally and encouraged everybody to boo. If you say stuff in public, James, then people say stuff back to you. But you were telling me about the things. You were telling me about the things that you're not allowed to say. You weren't telling me about being branded.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say that we're having too many people come across.
But you just did.
Yeah, exactly.
So how can you not be allowed to say the thing that you just said?
Because then you're shamed for it, saying, "Oh well, we need to help them out."
Mate,
No,
the
because if you look at
Conservative Party, the Labour Party, and the Reform Party are all saying that there are too many people coming into this country from overseas. So what is it that you feel?
But the Conservatives and Labour won't do anything about it.
No, but we're talking about them not being allowed to say it. I just want to get to the bottom. In the same way your claim about Sadiq Khan and Sharia law, we got to the bottom of that, didn't we?
We did.
And it was complete crap, wasn't it?
Well, yes.
So now let's try now to get to the bottom of the idea that you're not allowed to say there are too many people coming here.
Because you have the left media who are saying, but we need to welcome them in.
Yeah, but that's freedom of speech as well. So you're allowed to say there's too many, and other people are allowed to say, no, there's not. Just nail me where that problem is for you personally. We're
spending £6 million a day on these illegal immigrants. £3 billion a year.
Yes, and what's the bit you're not allowed to say?
They're coming across.
Yes.
They're getting mobile phones. They're put into 5-star hotels.
Well, let's look at that then. Let's look at the 5-star. Shall we look at the 5-star hotel thing then?
They're in 5 stars.
No, let's
4
look at
stars,
that. Let's
3
look at
stars.
that. Let's look at the 5-star hotel. The illegal immigrants in 5-star hotels. Where are they? And where? No. Let's go back again. Actually, where did you hear that?
The news.
You heard it on the news. Which news?
Yes. Various outlets.
Okay, and where are the hotels?
You've got the one which is barricaded down. Is it in Plymouth?
Mate, you don't barricade 5-star hotels. They cost about £400 a night. What would all the other guests say? That can't be a 5-star hotel, can it?
The government are booking up whole hotels. This is the thing. They're barricaded by the police because of protesters.
Yeah, but they cease to be hotels when they become asylum centres. They used to be hotels. It's just a name that's given to a building. But I want to focus on the 5-star bit. So can you name a 5-star hotel where illegal immigrants are accommodated?
Yeah, let's have a look, shall we?
Yeah.
If that's the case. So, news article here. Thousands of asylum seekers and channel migrants are living in 4- and 5-star luxury at British taxpayers' expense.
Where's that?
One of the 4 hotels used to be a house.
Where is the article?
This is on The Sun.
And where? Just finish that sentence there. One of the hotels used to be.
One of the high-end, rated in the top brackets, detonating class, and some high-end resorts nationwide are booked for months.
Yes.
Home Office officials are sitting refreshing.
So the 5-star hotel we're looking for.
So we've got a 4-star hotel, which is.
And you think that is still a 4-star hotel? That is literally taking guests alongside asylum.
No, because the government.
So it's not a 4-star hotel anymore. If you stayed there, you'd be sharing a room. You'd be told what meals you were having. You wouldn't have access to the facilities that were put in place for guests because most of them would have been closed. It's a bit like, what's the nearest hotel to you, where you are now, James, in Durham? What's it like?
That's probably the Premier Inn is probably the closest.
Okay, well, I was in a Premier Inn at the weekend. So imagine that we took over that Premier Inn tonight and we turned all the rooms into dormitories. We put 2 sets of bunk beds in every room. We got rid of the menu and decided what we'd be serving up every morning and every evening. You'd have a very limited amount of choice, if you like, to what food was available. You certainly wouldn't be able to avail yourself of the bar facilities or anything like that. But the building in which this was happening used to be the Premier Inn. We'd maybe even leave the sign outside that says Premier Inn. Would you describe the people staying there in those bunk beds as staying in the Premier Inn?
Yes.
Oh, well, then you've got me bang to rights, because it's no longer the Premier Inn, according to all of the definitions that gave it that title, in any way, in exactly the same way that building over there that was once a 5-star hotel and is now an asylum centre is not a 5-star hotel anymore. Do you see that?
Well, okay, so let me flip it round to you. So say you book every single room in the Premier Inn.
Yeah.
Just for you. Is it still a hotel?
Yes.
Exactly. So what's the difference from the government fully block booking a hotel and then the housing?
Because the hotel that I'm staying in is the same as it was last year. It hasn't been turned into an asylum processing centre. We're going to run out of time, and the hotel you've just described costs £48 a night, I'm told. So it's not exactly... It's
probably a lot cheaper than what the government's paying.
Yeah, maybe. So the question then becomes, if you know that the stuff about Sharia law was completely nonsense, you know that there is not a single asylum seeker in this country living in 5-star luxury. They may be, although we failed to find a single one. They may be in a building that used to be a 5-star hotel. And we know that everything you've said about Muslims, essentially, or
I haven't said any... No, you're spinning that.
Okay, right. Scratch that last bit then. Just the stuff. Let's concentrate on the stuff about Sadiq Khan and Sharia law, and nothing about Muslims, and the nonsense about the 5-star hotels. Can you tell me in a sentence or two why, when you put the phone down, you're still going to believe what you believed when you rang in?
Yes, because you've seen it on the, well, I suppose maybe being on the left and in the media might not see it as much. But
we're talking about you. You're going to, because we've established two things you believe are not true. And now you're going to put the phone down and we're going to say goodbye, and you're still going to believe what you believed when you rang in. And I just want, if you could help me out as someone on the left in the media who doesn't know what the real world is like, if you want to put it like that, that might be helpful. Why will you still believe the stuff that you now know isn't true?
Because there's still areas of the United Kingdom that even the police are scared to.
Let us start with the Sharia law claim, because it deserves more attention than just noting it was false. The caller did not invent this claim. He did not reason his way to it. He saw it on social media. It appeared in what he described as a Daily Mail post. He believed it, and it became part of the framework through which he understands British politics. And here is the thing about that. The quote is not just wrong. It is obviously wrong. It misspells the word Sharia. It attributes to the elected mayor of London a statement so extreme and so politically suicidal that no functioning politician in any democracy would ever say it out loud. And yet it spread. It was shared hundreds of times on Facebook. It reached this caller. And when O'Brien found the Reuters fact check in real time during the conversation, the caller said, yes, that is false, and then said it does not change my opinion. That single moment is the most important thing in the entire clip. Because what it reveals is that the claim about Sharia law was never really the point. It was not evidence that led to a conclusion. It was a conclusion that had already been reached, and the Sharia law post was just one piece of content among many that the caller encountered online, which seemed to confirm what he already suspected. When you remove one piece of that scaffolding, the building does not fall, because the building was never really standing on that piece. It was standing on the feeling, on the anxiety, on the sense that something is changing and nobody in power is acknowledging it. The specific false claim was just one expression of that feeling, and you can disprove it all day long without touching the feeling underneath. The five-star hotel argument follows exactly the same pattern. The caller believes immigrants are living in five-star luxury at taxpayer expense. O'Brien asks him to name one. He cannot name one. He finds a Sun article about buildings that were formerly rated hotels. O'Brien points out that a building formerly rated as a hotel that has been converted into an asylum processing centre with dormitory bunk beds, restricted meals, and no guest facilities is not a five-star hotel in any meaningful sense. The caller admits this, and then he keeps the belief anyway. Because the belief is not really about the hotels. It is about the feeling that people who should not be here are being treated better than people who were born here. And that feeling is not addressed by demonstrating that the hotels are not five-star. Then there is the British values conversation, which is the part that exposes the entire call. The caller rang in to defend Nigel Farage on the grounds that Farage represents British values. O'Brien asks him to name one. The caller cannot. He talks about Dubai and respecting local laws when you go on holiday. He talks about integration. He talks about the white working class not being allowed to say things. O'Brien points out that every major political party, including Reform, is already saying there are too many people coming into the country. So what exactly cannot be said? The caller cannot answer. Because the thing that cannot be said is not a policy position. It is a prejudice. And you cannot say it out loud on national radio without it being immediately identified as what it is. And that is the uncomfortable truth at the heart of this call. The caller is not a bad person. He is frightened. He has been fed false information repeatedly through channels he trusts, and it has accumulated into a worldview that feels completely coherent from the inside. Sadiq Khan wants Sharia law. Immigrants are in five-star hotels. The white working class cannot say what they think. Farage is the only one defending British values. Every single one of those claims is either false or misleading. But they all point in the same direction, and they all serve the same function, which is to make the caller feel that his world is under threat and that someone needs to protect it. James O'Brien did not fix that in this call. Nobody could fix it in one call. But he did something important. He showed the caller, calmly and without condescension, that the foundations of his fears are not solid. What the caller does with that is up to him. This is Fool's Ballot. Hit the like button, drop your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe to the channel if you're not already there, and share this one because the person who needs to watch it probably will not find it on their own. I will see you in the next one.